Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Today we are going to discuss the topic mixtures. Okay, mixtures is a simple topic only. Last class we discussed elements and compounds. I think all of you know about that. Then today we are discussing mixtures. 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 What is the meaning of mixtures?
Impure substance.
Impure substance. Mixtures means impure substance. Impure substance. How the impure substance are formed? Two or more pure substance combined together.
Substances are
Two or more pure substances combined together, we will get impure substance. That two or more pure substance they can combine together without any proportion. Without any proportion, they will combine together and form impure substance. Such type of impure substance are known as mixtures. But important thing, in the formation of mixtures, there is no chemical change takes place. Otherwise, there is no energy exchange takes place. In normal case, there is no energy exchange takes place in the case of mixtures. Let's study what is the meaning of mixtures. Mixtures means two or more pure substance combined together without any definite proportion. They can combine together with any proportion and form impure substance. Such type of substance are known as mixtures. In our daily life, we will use the different types of mixtures. Salt solution, sugar solution, ice cream, ink, all are impure substance. Air. Now, air also impure substance. Because the air contains different types of components. Gases such as carbon dioxide, oxygen, hydrogen, etc. Then it contains the traces amount of Is it clear for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then,
now.
then air also mixture. Air contain oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, etc. Then it contains the traces amount of water vapor, dust particles, and so we can say air is a mixture. Then the mixtures we can classify it as two types: homogeneous and heterogeneous.
Genius.
Homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures mean two or more components combined together and we will get a mixture, but in that mixture the components are uniformly distributed. We can't see them separately. The components of a mixture uniformly distributed throughout its volume and we can't see separately. Such type of mixtures are known as homogeneous mixtures. And in the case of second one, heterogeneous mixtures, two or more components combined together and we will get a mixture, but that components are not uniformly distributed. We can see them separately. Sand and water. One example, simple one, sand and water. Sand and water is a heterogeneous mixture. That sand is not soluble in water. That sand and water we can say separately. Such type of mixtures are known as heterogeneous mixtures. Then first one, homogeneous mixture, salt solution, salt in water, salt water, etc. Sugar solution and all. In that case, the components of the mixture combine together or it will mix together and we can't see them separately. Such type of mixtures are known as homogeneous mixtures. So mixtures, two types are the homogeneous and heterogeneous. In the case of homogeneous mixture, the components are uniformly distributed and we can't see them separately. What is the meaning of components? Components means the substance involved in a mixture. The substance that form a mixture, that is known as components or constituents. Components of mixtures or constituents of mixtures. In here, sand and water. Here two components are there, sand and water, or two constituents are there in this mixture, sand and water. Here salt and water. These are the two components of a mixture.
Salt water.
In the case of salt water, two components are the salt and water. Then What are the important characteristics of mixtures? Important characteristics of
Mixture is a
mixtures.
impure substance. Mixture may be homogeneous or heterogeneous. Mixture has no
The first one, we know that mixtures are formed by the combination of two or more substances. So, the mixtures are impure substance. Mixtures are impure substance. Impure substance. How we can say that mixtures are impure substance? Because two or more components combine together in any proportion. That's the first one. Then mixtures, just before we discuss that one, mixtures are two types, homogeneous and
homogeneous and heterogeneous.
heterogeneous. Homogeneous mixtures are the heterogeneous mixtures are. Then the third one, in the case of mixtures, the components are uniform. The components are combined together without any proportion. There is no any proportion or there is no any combination proportion in mass.
No fixed component.
Otherwise, there is no energy exchange takes place in the case of formation of mixtures. There is no energy exchange. There is no energy exchange in the case of formation of mixtures. Then, the simple one, in the case of mixtures, the mixtures we can't represent. It is not possible by represent in a formula. It is not can't represent by a formula. It's not by a formula, and it does not have a definite set of properties. Okay, there is no fixed melting point or boiling point. There is no fixed melting point, boiling point, or any other type of properties. There is no fixed properties for this mixtures. These are the properties of mixtures. Then we can compare the properties of mixtures with the properties of compounds. Compounds, we already learned that, we already know the properties of compounds also. So the first one, in the case of mixtures, we told
Impure substance.
it is an impure substance. Mixtures are impure substance. But in the case of compounds, compounds are pure substance. Compounds are pure substance. Then, in the case of mixtures are homogeneous and heterogeneous. Two types of mixtures are the.
Compounds.
In the case of compounds are homogeneous. Compounds are homogeneous. Then, in the case of mixtures, there is no energy exchange takes place. In the case of compounds, maybe energy exchange takes place. The next one, we can represent by a formula, representation. Any water, H2O, NaCl. So that way, we can represent it by a formula.
Has definite set of properties.
In the case of compounds, compounds contain fixed set of or definite set of properties. No, fixed melting point will be the boiling point, etc. So compounds have the specific set of properties, but mixtures they do not have specific set of properties. Then one thing, how we can separate that one? One method. Which method we will use for the separation of the constituents?
Complex chemical methods.
In the case of compounds, we will use chemical methods like electrolysis. We will use the chemical methods for the separation of constituents. Constituents or components from the compound. We can use the chemical methods, but in the case of mixtures, we will use
Simple physical
methods we will use. Simple physical methods we will use. That is an important one. These are the main comparison or differences between mixtures and compounds. Mixtures are impure substance. Compounds are pure substance. Compounds are homogeneous. Mixtures are homogeneous or heterogeneous. Then compounds we can represent by formula. Mixtures we can't represent by formula. Then one thing, anyway, on the basis of the components or on the basis of the state of the components, we can classify the mixtures again. How we can classify? On the basis of the state of the components. Solid, solid,
liquid,
solid mixtures, solid liquid mixtures, liquid mixtures, liquid gas mixtures, gas mixtures. So these are the different types of mixtures.
gas.
each cases homogeneous is the heterogeneous is the. Okay. First case solid mixtures. The case of solid mixtures. In example we can say salt and water. Sorry, salt and sugar.
Bronze.
Salt and sugar. Then sand and iron fillings.
Brass.
Brass, bronze, steel, duralumin, etc. Steel, duralumin, etc. These are solid mixtures. Then just stick with they are homogeneous or heterogeneous. In the case of salt and sugar, which type of mixture?
Homogeneous.
Yes, it is a heterogeneous mixture, not homogeneous. Salt and sugar, heterogeneous mixture. Sand and iron fillings, also heterogeneous mixture. Then brass, steel, etc.
Homogeneous.
They are homogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures. What's another name of brass and steel? Brass and steel are example for alloys. Alloys. What is the meaning of alloy? What is the meaning of an alloy? Alloy means two or more metals or one metal or one non-metal combined together. Yes. Two or more metals or one metal and non-metal combined together, we will get mixtures. Such type of mixtures or such type of substance are known as alloys. Then brass. Brass contain copper and zinc. Brass contain copper and zinc. Steel contain iron and carbon. Then bronze contain copper, tin and zinc. So these are alloys. These alloys are example for homogeneous solid mixtures. Okay, study that way. So alloys are the example for homogeneous solid mixtures. Remaining example for heterogeneous solid mixtures. Then solid liquid mixtures. Solid liquid mixtures.
Salt in water.
Salt and water.
In water.
1 minute.
Salt in water. Sugar in water.
Salt in water.
Sugar in water.
Sugar in water.
Iodine and alcohol.
Stone and water. Any other? Mud water or
Mud and water.
sand and water, etc. Yes, that's enough. Sand and water. Then there is of salt and water or salt water or sugar solution. They are homogeneous solid liquid mixtures. Then here stone and water, sand and water are heterogeneous solid liquid mixtures. Then liquid mixtures.
Water and alcohol.
Liquid mixtures. Water and alcohol. Water and alcohol. Another one, water and oil. Water and kerosene. Anyway, we can write. Here two examples are the water and alcohol, water and oil. So, this water and alcohol are miscible liquids. Miscible liquids means they will mix together. Okay. Such type of mixtures are known as liquid homogeneous mixture. Water and alcohol is an example for liquid homogeneous mixtures. Water and oil is a heterogeneous liquid mixtures. It is an example for heterogeneous liquid mixtures. The next one, liquid gas. Liquid gas. Liquid gas, CO2 and water. CO2 and water means soda water, the soda or cool drinks. We can say cool drinks. This is an example for homogeneous. This carbon dioxide dissolved in water. So we can say this is an example for homogeneous liquid gas mixtures. Homogeneous liquid gas mixtures and heterogeneous mist. Mist is an example for heterogeneous liquid gas mixtures. Okay, mist is an example. Mist means air, water vapor in air, water in air. So we can say mist is an example, or soap lather. Anyway, we can say it is an example for heterogeneous liquid gas mixtures. Soap lather also as an example. Mist also an example for liquid gas. Soap lather. That is an example for heterogeneous mixtures. Then gas mixtures. We know that air means it's a mixture of gas. Normally all gases will mix. It is a miscible. Okay. So air is an example for homogeneous gas mixtures, or bromine mixed with oxygen. Normal air. Bromine, you know that bromine is mixed with air. Then also it is a homogeneous mixture of gas. All gases are miscible. Okay. So here we discuss different types of mixtures: solid mixtures, liquid solid mixtures, liquid mixtures, liquid gas mixtures, and gas mixtures. In your textbook table are the two tables are there. In the case of page number 26, two tables. The difference between compounds and mixtures. Then one more table is there. Now we discuss that one, the same one. Study that one with examples. Next we are going to discuss the separation methods. Separation methods. In your 6th grade, you already learned that one. The different types of separation methods. Separation methods means in our daily life we will use a different types of substances. So in our daily life we will use a different types of substances. And all these substances are available in the form of mixtures. So it is very important to separate the components to get the desirable one. Okay, otherwise we want to remove the undesirable one. So it is very important to separate the components from a mixture. According to our convenience, for our convenient life, we want to separate the components from a mixture. That methods, different types of method we will use for the separation of mixtures, separation of components from a mixture, that is known as separation methods. So, in the case of solid, first we will discuss solid separation methods. Solid mixtures. First one, hand picking. Normal methods, hand picking. Then next one, winnowing. Then which method we will? Sieving. We can use sieving. Yes, magnetic separation. Then fifth one, solvent extraction. Then sublimation. Gravitational method. Yes, gravitational method. Fractional crystallization, not crystallization, fractional crystallization. These are the important separation methods for solid mixtures. Separation methods of solid mixtures. Here we wrote these 8 methods. First one, hand picking. Okay, each example with a principle and sentence you have to study. First one, hand picking. Hand picking means we can pick out by our hands. The components we can separate with the help of our hands. That method is known as hand picking. One important thing, in the case of hand picking, we will use when the mixture should be in less amount. The mixture should be in less amount. At the same time, the components should be in different sizes or different shape, of different size or different amount should be there. Then only we can separate by using our hands. Such type of method, such type of mixtures we can separate with the help of hand picking method. In the case of hand picking method, the components of the mixture should be in different sizes. Okay, different sizes. Otherwise, there should be a difference in the color, or it should be less quantity. No, small stones from rice. It is very easy to separate small stones from rice. How can it is possible? How is it possible? Because both are in different sizes or different color. It is very easy to recognize. The sand and salt and sugar. No, both are in similar size, so it is very difficult to pick out or very difficult to recognize also. It's an important point. In the case of hand picking, in the hand picking method, we can use the mixture should be less amount. Then only we can use this method. Otherwise, or next way, the components of a mixture should be in different sizes. Then only we can use hand picking method. I hope all of you clear that one. Then winnowing. Winnowing means with the help of wind. With the help of wind, we can separate the components from a mixture. That is known as winnowing. Husk and grains. Husk, small husk we can separate with the help of wind. Husk from grains we can separate by using the method winnowing. Winnowing means with the help of wind we can separate the components from a mixture. Sieving. Sieve. Now in our rice powder and in our kitchen we will use a sieve for the separation. A small any materials will be there in the rice powder. Unwanted substance we can remove with the help of a mesh or with the help of a sieve. Mesh means, sieve means a mesh is fitted with a frame. That is known as sieve. So in the case of sieving, in the sieving method we can use the mixture contain anyway two components will be there. At least two components will be there in the case of a mixture. That component should be in different size. The components should be different size. Then only we can use the sieve. Otherwise, what happens? The both components will pass us through the sieve or mesh. So it is not possible for us to separate by sieve. So in the case of sieving method, the mixture containing components should be in different sizes. So what happens? One component passes through the sieve and other component we can separate. So both components we can separate with the help of a sieve. Normally in the construction works and all, we will use big sieves for the separation of sand from gravel. Sand and gravel we will use for construction purpose and so that is a big sieve we will use for construction purpose. In our kitchen also we will use a small size sieves. And then in jewelries also they will use a small sieves for separating different size of pearls. Different size of pearls they will use. Then cashew nuts, they will use a different size of cashew nuts for the separation of different size cashew nuts by using a sieve. So that's a method of sieving. Sieving means with the help of a sieve. With sieve means a mesh fitted in a frame. Just understand that one. That also one method. By using this method, we can separate the components from a mixture. In this case, both components should be different size. Then only we can separate by using this method. Then the fourth one, magnetic separation. It's a simple one. Magnetic separation means separation of a magnetic substance from a mixture. By using a magnet, we can separate the components from a mixture, but important thing, one of the components should be magnetic in nature. Otherwise, it will not attract towards the magnet. So, in the case of magnetic separation, the mixture contains substance. One of the substance should be in magnetic nature, like iron, nickel and all. Then only we can separate by using this method. Any iron fillings and sand. Iron and sulfur. Iron and sulfur. This is an example for iron and sand. Anyway, one component should be magnetic nature. Then only we can separate by using this method. Then next one, solvent extraction method. Solvent extraction method. Solvent extraction method means one component should be soluble in liquid. Any liquid we can use. So, in a mixture contain two solid components. One of the solid component soluble in water. That is known as solvent extraction method. Here I will write one example. Salt and sand. Salt and sand. Here we know that salt is soluble in water. Salt is soluble in water. So we can use the method solvent extraction. Solvent extraction method we can use. salt and sand. Now in your textbook, sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. Anyway, we can use here calcium carbonate not dissolve in water. Here also sodium chloride means salt. Salt will dissolve in water, then that sodium chloride we can decant. It will settle down in water so that we can pour off. That way we can separate. So solvent extraction method means in a mixture contain at least two components will be there. In the case of the two components, one of the components should be soluble in water. In the solvent extraction method, one of the components should be soluble in water. Then we can use this solvent extraction method to study that sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. How can we separate that sodium chloride and calcium carbonate? By using solvent extraction method. Study the example sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. Which method we will use? Solvent extraction method. Then salt and water. When we are adding some water, salt will dissolve. Then sand or here calcium carbonate. That calcium carbonate will settle down. Then we can decant. We can decant that solution. Then we will get salt, water one side and calcium carbonate or sand one side. From this salt solution, we want the salt. Then by the process of evaporation, we will get the salt back. Okay. That method is known as solvent extraction method. Next one, sublimation. What is the meaning of sublimation? What is the meaning of sublimation? Directly, solid substance directly changes into gaseous state without undergoing liquid state. So, that is known as sublimation. Liquid to gas directly, substance changes into solid to gas. That is known as sublimation. Such type of substance are known as sublimable substances. Can you give example for sublimable substances? Iodine, dry ice, camphor, naphthalene, mothballs, etc. These are example for sublimable substance. So, in the case of sublimation method, a mixture contain in the case of sublimable method, a mixture contain one of the substance should be sublimable nature. A mixture contains substance. One of the substance should be sublimable substance. Sand and camphor or sand and camphor we can use. Sand and camphor. How can we separate? While heating what happens? The camphor changes into gaseous state, then we will get the sand back. That way we can separate. Here camphor is a sublimable substance. Camphor is a sublimable substance. So we can use the method sublimation. Let's check whether any sublimable substance is there or any magnetic substance is there or any substance will soluble in water. That way we can identify which method we can use here. Sand and camphor we can separate by using sublimation method. What is the reason? Because camphor is a sublimable substance, so we can use this method. Then gravitational method. Gravitational method means in the case of a mixture, one component should be lighter than water, other component should be heavier than water. Both components should be in solid state, but one component should be heavier than water and other component should be lighter than water. Here one example is a sand and sawdust. Study that one. Sand and sawdust we can separate. By simple one, just add some water. What happened? Sawdust or wooden powder or anything. Chalk powder also we can. Chalk powder, if it will float on the surface of water. Which one is heavier? That one settle down in water. Then we can pour off or filter. Anyway, we can separate. So in the case of a gravitational method, one of the components should be heavier than water, other one should be lighter than water. Then only we can use this method. This is a gravitational method. Gravitational method. Then this one, fractional crystallization is an important one. Fractional crystallization. In the case of fractional crystallization, the components, same way components should be in solid state. But in the case of fractional crystallization, two components will dissolve in the same liquid. The two solid components will dissolve in the same liquid, but we can separate them with the help on the basis of their solubility. On the basis of their solubility, we can separate the components. That way, that method is known as fractional crystallization. Potassium nitrate and sodium chloride. Potassium nitrate and sodium chloride, you know that both are soluble in water. Potassium nitrate and sodium chloride. In the case of sodium chloride and potassium nitrate, if we are adding some water, okay, we are adding some water into this mixture of sodium chloride and potassium nitrate. Potassium nitrate and sodium chloride, and write here KNO3 and NaCl. This is a mixture of sodium chloride and potassium nitrate. When we are adding some water and we are heating them, then what will happen? Both components will dissolve in water. We will add some water, then on heating, both components will dissolve in water. Then again, when we are cooling that one, potassium nitrate first crystallizes because the solubility of the potassium nitrate is very fast, more. Solubility is more for potassium nitrate. So when cooling, this potassium nitrate will crystallizes first. When we are cooling, the potassium nitrate crystallizes first. That crystals we can separate. Again, when we are heating, then we are cooling, again we will get potassium nitrate crystals. The complete potassium nitrate we can separate like that. Then what is remaining? Salt water. The remaining one is salt solution. By the process of evaporation, water components from this salt solution, it become removes and we will get the sodium chloride. I will say one more time. In the case of fractional crystallization, we can use the two components should be different, should be soluble in the same solvent. At the same time, there should be a difference in their solubility. On the basis of their solubility, difference in their solubility, we can use this method, fractional crystallization. Here one example, sodium chloride and potassium nitrate. Sodium chloride and potassium nitrate. In here, both of the components are soluble in water. When we are heating, both components are soluble in water, and on cooling, this potassium nitrate crystallizes very fast because the solubility is more. So that way, potassium nitrate crystallizes very fast. That way we can remove. Again, when we are heating that, then we are slowly cooling. Crystallizes. Crystallizes means crystals like structure we will get. Okay, this like crystals, we can see this potassium nitrate that we can remove. Remaining solution is sodium chloride solution. From that sodium chloride solution, normal, which method easily we can use? Normally we are using evaporation. When we are continuously heating sodium chloride solution, the water evaporates and we will get the salt back. Yes, dry ice is a sublimable substance. Dry ice. Solid carbon dioxide is a dry ice. So here, sodium chloride and potassium nitrate is an important one. We can use the sodium chloride, mixture of sodium chloride and potassium nitrate. We can separate by the fractional crystallization method. What is the reason? Because on the basis of their solubility difference, we can use this method. Both substances are soluble in water. When you are heating, both substances will dissolve, and on cooling, this potassium nitrate will crystallizes fast because the solubility of potassium nitrate is more than sodium chloride. That's an important one. Study that one. That's important. I am repeating again and again because it's an important one. Just underline that one and study that. Okay. So here, first we discuss which method we discussed first? Hand picking. Hand picking. Yes, I will tell one more time. Hand picking means with the help of hand we can separate that components. What is the principle? In the case of this method, the components should be different in their size. Then only it should be small amount also. Then only we can separate by using this method. First one. Second one, winnowing. Winnowing. No problem. Just understand that. That's only. Anyway, you already studied this one from 6th grade onwards. So just understand that. That's enough. So winnowing means with the help of wind we can separate. Okay, that is known as winnowing. Husk and grain we can separate. Sieving. Sieving, with the help of a sieve we can separate the components from a mixture. What is the, yes. What is the meaning, what is the principle of winnowing? Winnowing, one component should be lighter in weight. Lighter, then only it becomes flyaway with the help of wind. So, one component should be lighter, one component should be heavier. In the case of sieving, both components should be different size. Then only we can use a sieve. Okay, I hope all of you clear that one. Then, magnetic separation. With the help of a magnet, one substance should be magnetic nature. Then it will attract towards the magnet, that way we can separate. Then, sublimation. In a mixture contain one of the substance. One substance should be sublimable nature. Then we can use the sublimation method. Gravitational method. Gravitational method. One should be soluble in water. One component should be soluble in water. Then we can use this solvent. Which method I asked this before? Solvent extraction. Gravitational method means, yes, one component is heavier than water and one component is lighter. Okay. One should be settled down, then we can decant or pour or filter, anyway we can separate. But solvent extraction method, solvent extraction, yes, one component should be soluble in water, then we can use this method. Then one more is there, what is that? Fractional crystallization. Fractional crystallization, on the basis of the difference in their solubility, so that way like that way itself, on the basis of the difference in their solubility, we can use this method, fractional crystallization. Okay, these are the method of separation for solid mixtures. The next one, solid liquid mixtures. First one, yes, sedimentation and decantation. Okay, one by one we can discuss. Okay, first one, sedimentation and decantation. Which type of mixtures we can separate by this method? By using this method, which type of mixtures we can separate? Yes, solid liquid mixtures. That's I already wrote. Yeah, homogeneous or heterogeneous? Homogeneous or heterogeneous? Yes, heterogeneous mixtures. Heterogeneous. This is a method for the separation of heterogeneous solid liquid mixtures. In the case of sedimentation, what happens? The solid component, solid should be insoluble. The insoluble component will settle down in a liquid. Okay, that method is known as sedimentation method. The settle down of suspended insoluble heavy particles in a liquid. That method is known as sedimentation. Then, due to the sedimentation process, we can see the insoluble substance settle down. That insoluble substance are known as sediment. That insoluble substance are known as sediment. This sand particles will be there and water. So, the sand is known as sediment, and here the clear liquid is there. The clear liquid is known as supernatant liquid. So, in the case of sediment, we already studied two words, sediment and supernatant liquid. Supernatant liquid, sediment means the insoluble substance settling down. That insoluble substance are known as sediment, and the clear liquid above the sediment is known as supernatant liquid. Okay, it's easy. Then, next one, decantation. Decantation means just to decant the liquid. This clear liquid, we will decant. This clear liquid pouring off into another beaker. This clear liquid, we will decant into another beaker without disturbing the sediment. Without disturbing the sediment, the clear liquid we will decant, pouring off into the another beaker. That method is known as decantation. Sedimentation means the settling down of insoluble heavy particles or suspended particles in a solid liquid mixture is known as sedimentation. Which particle is settling down, that particle is known as sediment. The clear liquid is known as supernatant liquid. Okay, I hope clear. Then the transferring or pouring of the clear liquid into another beaker without disturbing the sediment. That method is known as, yes, decantation. Decantation. Then next one, filtration. Filtration means using a filter paper, using filters. Any cloth also, we can use a cloth or charcoal. Anyway, we can filter. Just use the word filter. No need to filter paper. Different types of filters are there. That's why I am telling. With the help of a filter, that's enough. With the help of a filter, we can separate the insoluble components from a solid liquid mixture. This separation method also we will use for the separation of heterogeneous solid liquid mixtures. Okay. This method also we will use for the separation of heterogeneous solid liquid mixtures. What is the meaning of filtration? With the help of a filter, we can separate the insoluble components from a solid liquid mixture. Yes. So after filtration, we will get the clear liquid and solid particles. What is the name of the clear liquid? After filtration, we will get the clear liquid. Yes. Filtrate. 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 So after filtration, we will get the clear liquid that is known as filtrate. What is the solid particles left on the filter? Residue. Yes, residue. So here also we study the two terms, filtrate and residue. In the case of sediment, sedimentation, we use sediment and supernatant liquid. Okay. In the case of sedimentation, we discuss two terms, sediment and supernatant liquid. In the case of filtration, we discuss filtrate and residue. Filtrate means the clear liquid passing through the filter. That clear liquid, or after filtration, we will get the clear liquid. That clear liquid is known as filtrate, and the solid components left on the filter. Anyway, any filters we can use. That filter that is known as the solid components left on the filter is known as residue. Okay. So that these two methods are used for the separation of heterogeneous solid liquid mixtures. Any other methods you know? Not that. For the separation of heterogeneous mixtures, I am telling. Heterogeneous. Loading. No, loading. We study, no? L-O-A-D-I-N-G, loading. It is not there, I think, in your textbook. Anyway, loading means the minute particles. Now, river water and all contains small particles. It will not settle down very easily. Such type of particles we can separate with the help of a chemical. That method is known as loading method. Okay, just understand that, that's enough. Potash alum, alum. One chemical we will use. You know that. Potash alum, potassium aluminum contain one compound. So, potash alum is used for the separation of components from solid liquid mixture. That solid particles will not settle down very easily. At that time, we can use this potash alum, then it will combine together with the solid particles and make the big clusters. Then it will settle down. Just understand that. Solid liquid mixtures. No need just understand the name. No need of that much difficult for that. No? So you can use the way. Loading is a method for use for the separation of. Just write down there. That's enough. In your textbook, wherever you are using, there just write down the method loading. We are using one chemical, potash alum. Just understand that. So that is the three methods we discuss here. First one, sedimentation and decantation. Second, filtration. And third one, loading. Just understand loading. That's enough. Okay. Loading. Which chemical we are using for loading purpose? Potash alum. Okay, potash alum. Very good. The next one, evaporation. In the evaporation, which type of mixtures we will use for evaporation? Yes, homogeneous mixtures we can separate by using this method. Salt, water. Salt water. Salt water, we can separate the salt from salt water. By using this method, evaporation, normally we know that the liquid components evaporate and we will get the salt back. That method is known as evaporation. But in the case of evaporation, only one product we will get. Water become evaporated out and we will get salt. Only salt we will get. That method is known as evaporation. Next one. Crystallization. Crystallization also method used for the separation of homogeneous. Just write down there. It is there and on. Homogeneous solid liquid mixtures. Okay. In the case of crystallization, we will get the crystal-like structures from the sugar solution. We will take the sugar solution and sugar solution on heating. Sugar solution continuously we will heat. Very heat we are applying. So water component become evaporates. Sugar solution on heating. Water, most of the water component evaporates, then we will cool that liquid, cool that solution. Okay, sugar solution on heating, continuous heating, most of the water component evaporate, then now the mixture contain less amount of water and more amount of sugar. At that time, we will start cooling or we will start slow evaporation. Normally slow evaporation will take place, then we will get the crystal-like structures. That is known as crystallization. The slow evaporation here, slow evaporation will take place. It is a process in which slow evaporation of a solution containing more of the solid component. More of the solid component means first we will heat the sugar solution very fast. Then majority of the water evaporates. Okay. Now it contains only less amount of water and more amount of sugar. Then it undergoes slow evaporation. Then we will get the crystal-like structures. That method is known as crystallization method. That method is known as crystallization method. Then distillation. You know that. Distillation. Yes. Distillation is used for homogeneous mixtures. In the case of distillation, salt and water. We can raise the salt solution. We will take the salt solution. What is the principle of distillation method? No, from 5th grade onwards you study. By the continuous evaporation and condensation. Okay, by the continuous evaporation and condensation process is the principle of distillation. In the case of distillation, the solution, here salt solution is there with us. So when you are heating, water evaporates and that water passes through the condenser. What is the meaning of condensation method? Vapor return back to liquid state. So first on heating, the water components from the salt solution evaporates and it passes through the condenser. What is the principle of condenser? Condenser cooling. So the vapor return back to liquid state and we can collect the liquid. Okay, we can collect the liquid and we will get the salt. Another one beaker. In your textbook one picture is the diagram 3.8. Study the diagram distillation. All of you listen that. In the round bottom flask, this picture is needed for you. No need for drawing. Just label the parts. Okay. Study the parts: thermometer, salt solution, Bunsen burner, Liebig condenser, water distillate, etc. Study the labeled parts. Yes. No need. Not that much. It's used for the laboratory purpose normally. Distilled water means there is no any other minerals there. Okay. Then the distilled water. By the continuous heating, in a round bottom flask, we will take the salt solution on heating. First, just listen to the picture. It is passes through, the vapors passes through the condenser and on cooling, we will get the distilled. In the conical flask and the round bottom flask, we will get the salt. So, distillate. It is known as distillate. Then what, or distilled water. We can say the distilled water here. Then one important thing, in the case of, otherwise you can say, what is the difference between, what is the advantage of distillation over evaporation? No, in both cases, yes. In the case of distillation, yes, okay, that's correct. In the case of distillation, we will get both components. Both components we will get in the case of distillation. No. No, we will get the salt one beaker, one round bottom flask and water on the other end. We will get the both components in the case of distillation. But in this evaporation, only one product we will get, the remaining one evaporated out. Then one more is the centrifugation. Centrifugation is a method of separating solid from liquid. It is also used for the homogeneous mixtures. We will use a centrifuge. Centrifuge is an apparatus used for centrifugation. Centrifuge means we will take that mixture, solid liquid mixture in a centrifuge. Then continuous rotating. What happen normally? What happen? Solid component settle down. Liquid component will be there above the solid component. So that particle, that one is known as centrifugation. We can separate the solid components from solid liquid mixtures. The apparatus is known as centrifuge. Underline that word, centrifuge. The centrifugation is a method of separating solids from liquid in the mixture is homogeneous. Apparatus we will use centrifuge. For example, cream is separated from milk by using this method. In our home also we will use cream. We can separate by using this method. And here the high particles or low density particles move towards the bottom side. Lighter particles will move upwards and the heavier particles will settle down. Any salt and any solid component and liquid component. Solid liquid mixture by using centrifuge, the heavier particles moving upwards and the lower particles settle down. The heavier particles move downwards and the lighter particles move upwards. So that way we can separate. That's an apparatus we will use for centrifuge. Centrifuge is the apparatus used for centrifugation, and here the heavier particles settle down, move downwards, and the lighter particles will be there at the top. That way we can separate this one. This is a method for the separation of solid liquid mixtures. What are the methods we will use here? Solid liquid. First one, sedimentation and decantation. Second one, filtration. Third one, loading. Loading also we discuss here. Loading. Then evaporation, crystallization, distillation and centrifugation. Okay. Study the definition and principle of each. Study the principle and examples also. Which method we will use for the separation of this type of mixtures. When the questions will come like that way. So you have to study the principle and method also. Then study the diagram of distillation. Then one table is there in your textbook, page number 28. Some substances and their solvents. Sulfur will dissolve in carbon disulfide. Study that one. That substance and their solvent you have to study. Rubber, benzene, rust, oxalic acid. Paint will dissolve in turpentine oil, chlorophyll, methylated spirit. That way you can study that. Iodine, ethyl alcohol. The substance and the solvent. Again, you can study that table. Remaining thing is there, I think. It's a symbol. I hope all of you clear today's class. Study this one. Then we will meet on next class. Okay. Then all the best for your exams and all. Okay, thank you.